So we're recording.
Of course, you're going to say that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Screen Zone podcast. My name is Rahul.
I'm Madhav.
Yes, and today we are discussing something that we've been looking forward to for many
Quite a bit.
months. For me, I've been looking forward to this for 2-3 years or something like that. It's crazy and it's weird but astonishing to say this, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is here. The Snyder Cut exists and it's out there and everyone can watch it, and we have watched it, all 4 hours of it, and
Yes, Rahul. Hence, we are doing this review.
and it's gonna be a big one. Not as
what
big as the
we said.
movie, hopefully not. I mean, I could go on for hours for that, but
But we there. The movie is also beefy, so there's like a lot of shit to discuss.
yeah. So
So there might be 2 parts. We don't know. Let's see.
yeah, let's see. So before we get started, I just want to know we just want to talk about a little bit about our relationship with this entire project, the version that came out, the version we just saw, all of it. So, Madhav, what's your relationship to the Justice League? Like, what's your take on it, and how close have you been to this project? Like, how much did you know about this going into it?
So I obviously was excited for Justice League when the first trailer came out. My reactions were pretty much the mass reactions, like excited for the first trailer, and then as more trailers happened, and then we got to know of things happening behind the scenes and who was hired and everything. I was a little bit disenchanted, and I should have been more disenchanted because the movie sucked. Um, they didn't do it justice, and get ready for a lot of justice and league puns. 4 घंटे का movie है बहुत है. So yeah, I didn't like the movie obviously, and I guess that, and this is the reason the Snyder Cut even exists, because even I could tell ki this was changed and that the original thing was something else, definitely something else. It wasn't like Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
where you could tell there's more, but it works even without it. Here you could tell there was way more, because like the Justice League movie 2 घंटे का पागल है क्या? So yeah,
Also, there were
then
the original trailers where, like, you could, even if you didn't know what went behind the scenes,
there were trailer
you could
shots
tell.
where I was like, ये किधर था?
Yeah.
Where? And you could tell it's been changed. Yeah, so the whole Whedon thing happened. Then when the Snyder Cut ka, like, there was some lobbying for it, I was like, yeah, it would be cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like an actual director's cut or something. And then the whole Snyder thing started happening. At first, I was really, 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 really excited. Like, finally, you're getting a Justice League movie, that was originally intended, that wasn't changed. So obviously, and seeing the state of what Justice League was, I was clearly very like that the original cut has to be better. There's no way it could be worse.
Yeah.
Or even equally bad. It has to be better.
You
just
could see the studio notes in that theatrical version.
clearly. Just the fact that, like, the runtime of it is 1 minute 59 seconds.
Yes.
Fuck off. So
the movie is actually even shorter than 2 hours. It's like 1 hour 40-50 minutes.
yeah, and it's like, so I was like, okay, I'm really excited because I know Zack Snyder is very passionate about it. There is no denying that. He's super passionate about DC and the superheroes and stuff, and representing them on film. Now, as soon as there was more and more hype around it, I was kind of getting into it. I was like, yeah, this should be good. I'm kind of excited. Nearing the release of it, however, there was so much hype, and I was like, this might blow up in our faces. Because there was the exact same hype for BVS and Suicide Squad. The exact same.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing DC has taught me, is it's not to trust the trailers. So yeah.
It's a valuable lesson.
By the release, it's very, very, very valuable lesson. Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
So I was kind of keeping my excitement down because I hate being disappointed about shit, obviously. So I was thoda sa reserved going into it. and I didn't follow all the tiny minute things. I just know कि aspect ratio change hai. I know, and beach में just for fun, before the whole Snyder cut had existed, I had read on Wikipedia
Hmm.
that there was an entire section of things that were supposed to be in the original
Yeah,
cut
I sent it to
and
you.
they were
Yeah.
like cut out, and I was like, there is no way they would have fit that into 2 hours. WB, what the fuck is wrong with you? uh and at that time I was like, I was in the mind state ki हाँ superhero movie hai, तो just seeing this shit would be really awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, that is my relationship with it. I wasn't as close to it as you were,
Hmm.
clearly. Uh, like it's almost as if you were on set. Uh, so yeah, so I wasn't as close to it, but that's more also because I like to be away from things. You know this. I like to be
Mm-hmm.
surprised in movies. I don't even really watch trailers anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's been my relationship with Justice League and ZSGL.
Yeah, yeah. So to me, when it was announced that Snyder is departing, we all know the reasons and all. So when we knew that he was leaving and they were bringing in Joss Whedon, at first I was like, because generally I'm very optimistic about these things. I want to see the best version of whatever it can be.
Of
So
course.
I was thinking, okay, you know what? He has done two big movies, ensemble characters, superhero characters, and all that. So yeah, like he does have experience, and that experience can come in handy. um so that was, and yeah, because the previous two movies had been very dark and grim, especially for casual audiences. Like for hardcore audiences, we will still eat it up, because like we know these characters, like we relate with them so much more than casual audiences. So it made sense to me why they brought Joss Whedon in, and the studio was also, playing their cards and frankly lying that, oh, you know what, Zach picked him for co-writing duties, whatever, right?
Mm,
Which is complete lie.
obviously.
But then, right before the release, the mandate came that it has to be 2 hours. That's
Mm.
when I started picking up on, okay, wait, something is wrong behind the scenes, right? And then, of course, I saw the movie, and you could tell what is
Clearly
reshot, what
something
is
wrong behind the
Whedon
scenes.
humor, what is Snyder humor. You could tell.
Yeah.
So that whole thing happened, and my initial review, I wrote it, and my initial review was uh, not. I wouldn't say like overly positive. It was like 2.53 stars, वैसा type का. You're like, you know what, this is fine. The direction is better than the previous movies, because it was, for any casual viewer.
Felt a little more planned. That's one thing I really
Yeah.
liked. It that even Stuckman said.
Hmm.
I agree. This surprisingly feels like made by one director. It doesn't feel like two people made it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that happened, and then like I just kind of, okay, fine, whatever happened happened. Let's look forward to the other DC movies, and then Snyder over the years started releasing photos, like photos from his cut on
A year
Vero.
ago, I had a great version of this. Yeah.
Except here's the thing. So when I started viewing those photos, that's when I started getting a little more interested. Okay, fine, like what is it? Like I know there's a lot more, but like what exactly was in there? And so obviously, especially in the last, like what, in the last year, ever since it was announced back last, like May or June, something like that. It's been almost a year since it was announced that yes, we're doing it, we're releasing it, we're finishing it.
Yeah.
uh, that's when I started getting even more into it, because Snyder has gone on to many like conventions and screenings, and he has openly said stuff. You know what, Louis मरने वाली थी, ये होने वाला था, all that stuff. He was very open because he never thought that he would get the chance to do
It
this.
be made.
And then, so obviously that happened. So I pretty much knew almost everything going into this, like what's different, what was his story ideas and everything. And even I was surprised.
Hmm.
Even I was pleasantly surprised. Like I was happy that, oh, like thank God I didn't know this. Like even though I knew some big reveals, I knew that also there's a spoiler review, so we're gonna get the spoilers.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
I knew going into it that okay, in the end, Flash is gonna reverse time. Take care. I
Okay.
knew like, even big plot points like that I knew, but I didn't know Cyborg ka. Like I just knew Cyborg ka काफी backstory tha. They cut it. I didn't know. Holy shit, he's the main character.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So it's been a very like satisfying, joyous experience for me. And I know there are a lot of naysayers for this entire movement, for this entire whatever this whole Snyder Cut movement, that there are toxic fan base, and is it right for a studio to reward a toxic fan base? And they're partly right. There is
Yeah, no,
a
I
part of
get where they're
toxicity.
coming from, but that doesn't apply here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also because that's what banged the drums in the first place, because that toxicity is how it started, very much. Now in the recent times, obviously we've seen the amount of good work this fandom can also do for like mental health, raising money for it and whatnot. And even Snyder has been very supportive. In fact, he said that, what, the movie doesn't matter even if it never comes out. This matters, that you guys came together and did something good. So it's kind of hypocritical that a lot of media doesn't focus on that part. They focus on the vocal minority, which is always going to be toxic. But anyway, I'm happy this movie exists now. I'm happy I got the chance to see it, all 4 hours of it. Oh god, 4 hours. This movie is custom made for me. I texted a friend of mine who's also a DC fan, and we're like, this movie is custom made for us. Everything, like, obviously you can complain about a few things here and there. You can complain about, oh, you know what, this
So yeah,
part was
yeah,
not needed,
we'll
whatever,
get into the
and we'll
complaint.
get into it.
I have many.
But even with those things, and I'll agree that some of those things, like, can be cut out and wouldn't make a difference. But really, really love the fact that it's there. So let's get into it.
Okay.
So Madhav,
You start with yours. You're the
okay, I'll
more
start.
positive one here.
Okay, I'll start. So yeah, so the way we discussed it was, we're not gonna go exactly beat by beat, because that will take a long time.
We'll
Yeah,
just talk
we'll
about
start.
trends and
Yeah,
fundamentals.
we'll start off with the general things, the general differences, and then go on from there.
Mm.
So let's start with the general differences, right? And the biggest difference is, of course, Cyborg's backstory. Cyborg's backstory, his uniqueness that he brings to the team, his central purpose, and his relationship with his parents, especially with Silas Stone, his father. Uh, that blew me away. And of all the seven chapters in the movie, the third chapter, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son, is my favorite chapter. And that is saying something in a movie where you get to see dark side, injustice, Flash running through time, and the old gods versus the new gods. That's saying something. So that chapter, uh, fuck, God, I was blown away. And so, and this time we get to see, and we see in the theatrical cut, that we get the gist of it in the theatrical cut, that his dad just comes in and basically dumps an exposition about his backstory. Oh, you know what? After your mother died, I was blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
here we get to see the entire thing. We get to see how his mother
Yeah, it
dies.
goes into proper flashback. It gives
Yeah,
it does justice to his story.
it does
We,
justice
we,
to
we, we need, we
everyone.
need to have a counter, huh?
Oh,
How many puns I have made this time. So, so yeah, so
yeah.
Cyborg story is easily the one, if not the, it's one of the best parts of the movie.
Mm.
Uh, I to the point where I thought, ki, fuck, this could have been a standalone movie,
Oh
and
yeah,
then they could have just had Cyborg in Justice League. But I'm glad that his character was given, because he's one character who does deserve a good backstory, because he's so OP.
yeah.
In
And
the
you realize in this
Injustice,
version how OP he is. In
exactly,
the
in
last
Justice
one,
League
he
also,
was he was just a
uh,
cyborg war machine.
exactly. So in the last one, he wasn't technically OP, but he could
Yeah,
just, like, anytime they had a problem, he's like, oh, by the I can do this.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I
he
plugged into the internet. I did the thing that's convenient.
Exactly. So where he was more of a contrivance
Yeah,
than a character. Here, his backstory is very fleshed out. Ray Fisher fucking killed it, I thought. Uh, is his CGI improved? I think his CGI is better.
very much.
है ना? It does look like CGI, but like the design of it is better. It's slightly brighter. It's easier on the eyes, things like that. But even his story, his arc of him basically accepting his father despite all that he's done, getting to see where he's coming from. Instead of just in the last one, it was just like, oh, you made me a monster, fuck you. Now it was
Mm.
like, oh, he's never been there for him.
Yeah.
And then he did this, which is why, so it makes sense. His arc is just the most satisfying part of the whole movie. uh it's done justice. So so yeah,
I am keeping a
cyborg's
counter.
part best. Cyborg's thing best part of the movie. uh Another best part of the movie, Alfred.
Oh, dude,
He's
dude,
given so much
I
more. Number one, he's given more screen time, which is good because he was the best part of Justice. Also,
yeah,
all the sass that he has, and the fact that he gets more interaction with different characters. He's
yep,
telling Gal Gadot how to make tea and shit. I get like, okay, we'll get into the pacing and storytelling of it later, but just as a plain moment, that shit is awesome. I want to see Alfred interact with more, especially this Alfred.
yep.
Jeremy Irons as Alfred is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Jeremy
Um,
Irons Alfred, he certainly deserves a cult following
oh fuck yes,
because
he's my favorite character in the movie, hands down.
yeah.
So yeah. Uh, uh, Other positives were what? I loved the action. Every time there was an action scene, I was hype. I was like, यही पूरा movie होना चाहिए. Um,
Also, I was surprised. Like, obviously, we knew the theatrical cut, it had to cut down, and also, obviously, not every sequence will be the full sequence, it had to be cut down.
yeah,
But even stuff which in the just even stuff on paper which I'm not really looking forward to. So stuff like Wonder Woman's entrance, take care that the museum heist scene, not heist but like bomb blast scene, that hostage sequence. Uh, that sequence in general, it doesn't really do much for the story, right? It doesn't really add much,
more of
but
an intro
yeah, it's
scene.
just like a cool intro for Wonder Woman. But even then, there are like it's an extended version of the theatrical cut. But
Yeah,
even then, there are just moments in there which I'm like, why would you cut that from the theatrical? It wouldn't have increased the runtime.
exactly. There's a lot of shit in this where I'm like, why would you cut that from the theatrical? And then
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit vice versa also, but we'll get into that.
yeah.
Uh,
Also,
so
this entire movie shows just how much like obviously we know like the director, obviously someone like Zack Snyder who plans out his movies so much, like he storyboards every frame. uh, so they know exactly what they're shooting, right? They know exactly how it's going to turn up in the edit. So you can see in the theatrical cut, I don't know if you noticed, but even the same shots, take it, the same shots, the same cuts from the theatrical and here, you can see why it was shot that way. Because in the theatrical cut, if you see something like uh, say Batman jumping down and he's fighting a parademon, okay, he's just having hand to hand with a parademon for what, 3 seconds. It's just like 2 shots, that's it.
yeah,
In the theatrical, it feels like he's struggling very much because banda block nahi kar pa raha hai bechara. Oh shit, he's like that. In this one, you see it's been sped up a little bit. They're speed ramping, and here you
there's
get
a
the
lot of
feel,
speed run.
okay, he's a badass. So obviously there's a lot of slow mo speed ramping and all, but even stuff you wouldn't have thought were actually supposed to be speed ramped from the theatrical cut is done so here. So now you can see, oh, that's why it was shot that way. So even the Snyder stuff that I knew was Snyder stuff in the theatrical cut, I wasn't fully on board with some of the
It was,
stuff.
yeah, because even the Snyder stuff has been edited,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
manipulated.
now after I get to see, okay, so that's what he meant
Yeah.
when he shot it. And I should have seen it coming. You should have seen it coming. We're student editors, right? So we should have seen it coming. Thoda bahut ki, you know what? Shot composition, music,
No,
score,
no, no.
color grade, everything changes the
I was
feel of a
thinking,
scene.
which scene was I watching? I just saw some clip right before watching Snyder Cut.
Mhm.
Uh, I think it was that one only where Wonder Woman meets Cyborg for the first time in that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. In that alleyway.
Yeah. Uh, I think I was watching that scene and I'm like, the editing is horrendous. So clearly done. It's like when we in our student projects we get a badly acted take, and you know how sometimes we have to edit around the acting
Yeah.
rather than other things like continuity and story.
Mm.
it felt like that, not because of the acting, because they had to cut it down. And so yeah, another thing I really like was Flash's intro scene
Mm-hmm.
was fucking awesome. Why would you cut that out?
I'm
Why would you make his
surprised.
intro scene the him speaking to his father and him making mustache on his face or whatever? Like, what?
And even I'm surprised, like, okay, that thing, like, it's all cool and all, but so getting down to it, right? What did WB want? They wanted two things. One, to cut it down to 2 hours,
Mm,
and two, after you cut down to 2 hours, there's gonna be some story gaps. So plus they wanted some, like, lighten the tone and all that, but they also wanted to alter the story a little bit. But
yeah,
there are scenes in here which serve the exact same purpose,
exactly.
which have been reshot. Like that scene which you just talked about when Wonder Woman meets Cyborg for the first time.
Yeah,
Take it.
it's in essence it's the exact same scene.
It's the exact same scene. The outcome is the same. Why would you need to reshoot it just to change the dialogue?
Just to change the dialogue and just to make it shorter, because that scene
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
Also,
being
yeah,
far shorter.
yeah.
Also because
Wha-
this time, yeah, because I think they did that because they cut down Cyborg's story entirely, no?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
conversation that they have here is very like quite pivotal to his arc,
Mm.
and it wouldn't work if they gave him just that one thread of backstory. Ki I'm a monster now.
Also, there's
I
so
think that's why
many
they got it. So
small, like this. Man, I've told this to a couple of other people. This movie is a masterclass in teaching you, like, एक तो story तो तुमने change किया, that is one thing, right? But it's a masterclass in teaching you just how they edit, even with the same scenes, just how the edit and the music score can turn a bad scene into a good scene and also alter the story. So when they're about to resurrect Superman, right? In the theatrical cut, Cyborg says, you need to touch the cube right when it touches the water. ठीक है. There's no time travel bullshit involved there at all. ठीक है. And it's a cool scene. Here, you see, okay, so this scene actually involves time travel to a very small extent, where it goes inside the water, Barry's running through
just
time,
barely,
it
and then
goes
it
up.
comes out, and then he has to
Yeah.
touch it. Yeah,
Also, B, it plants the seed that he can do time travel for the third act.
yeah,
So, and because they cut out the third act almost entirely from the theatrical cut, they had to alter this scene also. And
definitely.
I'm just okay. You know what? I understand some of the intent behind everything. Like, even forgetting all the, like, bad shit WB did,
Yeah,
I get the intent. If I'm being an optimist, I get some of the intent. But even then, don't you want your cool superhero movie to have cool
to have
superhero
cool
stuff going on
superhero
to it,
shit in it. Yeah,
and not a Russian family who we
and
don't
that,
care
yeah,
about?
exactly, and that was what I liked best about this movie is the cool superhero shit. Uh, all the scenes, and I noticed that even like, yeah, it's the exact same thing even in the action scenes where the essence of the scene is the same.
Hmm.
Especially when Superman is resurrected and he punches Batman or whatever,
Yeah.
or he's about to laser Batman.
Huh.
Uh, and you didn't need the "Do you bleed" thing. And it's like, oh, something's bleeding. Fuck off. Uh,
The only good thing to come out of Justice League is the memes, and the memes are just
the
screen
memes,
grabs.
definitely. Even this should have a lot of memes, but like again, we'll get into that. Now, getting into my negatives.
Okay.
This scene reminds me of one huge negative, which is Lois Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Why does WB hate Lois Lane?
Yeah. I don't.
Her entire existence in this movie was, oh, Clark, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be dead. I
Yeah. Yeah.
I want you here. I'm not a functional
But
character without you, Clark.
you know what? They did her even more dirty in the theatrical cut because, ठीक है, like,
Somehow.
overall, like, she doesn't have much to do in this movie. She's just like brooding because Clark and all. That's fine. But at least she has her integrity and she has a mini arc. Like, I've left my job, I've left the Daily Planet, and towards the end she's like, you know what, I'll go back to it. Not towards the end, right before Superman is resurrected, she's like, you know what, I'll go back into the world. in the theatrical cut, remember the scene between her and Martha
Yeah,
at the Daily Planet? So what they essentially did was they took the Martha and Louis scene here, where it's revealed she's Martian Manhunter, but even without that, they took this scene, they basically replaced this scene with that scene in the theatrical. And what do we get in the theatrical? Clark always told me you were the thirstiest woman he ever met.
yeah.
Hungriest. Oh, toba, toba, toba. Uh,
That was just, yeah. I did like that scenes feel more polished here. Every time there's a change, it feels slightly more thought out and planned, which is
mm.
good. But I didn't like this Martha Manhunter.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, and it was, you could tell
Martian
that, okay,
Manhunter itself was entirely unnecessary. It
Martha Manhunter.
Martha Manhunter, sorry, Martha Manhunter was, I felt, entirely unnecessary,
Yeah.
even for a director's cut.
Hmm.
Uh, he didn't need to be in the movie. Either do something
Hmm.
or fuck off. Like you can't be like, "Arey, there's like the epic, insane battle going on, and
Ah.
Martian Manhunter is like, मैं chill मार के आता हूँ end में बाद में."
Yeah,
Come on,
that was
like
complete.
I'll have some
That
more people to impersonate.
Yeah, that was completely like,
That was bad. Okay,
yeah.
now getting to the bigger negatives I have
Hmm.
uh is kind of the same issues I have with every Zack Snyder movie,
Hmm.
and it's the story and the storytelling.
Okay.
I thought the story, while yes, it has more depth,
Hmm.
which is good, it doesn't have enough depth to do justice to the tone that they are trying to go for. Because if you
Okay.
see the first 2 hours of the movie, especially the second hour, uh, removing Cyborg's backstory, everything in the movie has this tone of trying to be really epic and really gritty and really like important. But the story doesn't have enough matter over there
Hmm.
to earn it, which is what I
Hmm.
felt. It has more motivation behind characters, which is good. But motivations only justify actions. What you need for complex characters and interesting characters is their philosophy.
Yeah.
And that is where Zack Snyder needs to improve, like in general.
Hmm.
He seems like a really cool guy. I like Zack Snyder as a person. He seems very passionate about movies. He seems very passionate about these characters. He seems like he enjoys this stuff, and he seems like a really cool guy to hang out with. What I don't like is his filmmaking style. Is
Hmm.
that I've never liked. That visual beauty is like elite.
Yeah.
This movie is not. This movie is actually kind of good looking. The more I would watch it, the more I feel it's a good looking movie. So was the first like 70% of Batman v Superman, and
Hmm.
even to an extent Man of Steel. I thought
Yeah.
he achieves visual beauty really well, and that's, you said, because he plans his storyboards out really well. He needs to do the same thing with the story itself, and more importantly the storytelling. Because if you see the dialogue in this movie, the dialogue is shit. I thought the dialogue is fucking horrible. Itna basic. It's like the first thing that came into their mind and they just wrote it. Things like
Listen.
that. And especially, like I'm saying, because of the tone that they're going for, which is so deep and gritty and everything,
Hmm.
you need dramatic value in your dialogue to
Yeah.
convey the depth that you're going for. That
Yeah, I
is
hear
one of the
you.
biggest problems, I thought.
And I
Uh,
agree with you. I agree with you on a lot of those points.
yeah.
One
Uh,
thing about the tone that you said, that it's going for that epic feel, right? That epic, like Lord of the Rings kind of feel, which I know every critic has said
Not
this, but
exactly Lord of the Rings. No, no, no.
it
I don't
is. It
agree with the
is.
critics on Lord of the Rings.
तुम
I
तुम
didn't think
चूतिए
it
हो,
was.
तुम छोड़ो. Listen, listen, listen. So hear me out, right? So this one critic, not critic, but he just does YouTube shows and all. He's a film pundit, if you want to use that word.
Yeah.
Robert Meyer Burnett, I follow him. He's really cool. So he was saying in his video, and I'm taking this from him because he laid it out really well,
Mm,
that there's a lot of stuff in this movie, particularly every Zack Snyder movie, but this one particularly because it's so much Zack Snyder, that uh, there's three levels, right? One, it's really not for the casual viewer. You have to be on a certain level for Zack Snyder movies. I'm not saying it's a, oh, it's a
That's
deeper
true.
than cinema thing. I'm saying just in terms of comprehending. ठीक है.
Yeah, you need to be more into Snyder to
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah, yeah.
casual
Simplest way
Snyder.
to put it.
Yeah,
Second was, uh, he used the example of when Aquaman is going into the water. Right before it, you have this rock song playing, not rock, whatever country song.
some
You
song.
have
Yeah,
this song playing, and he's just like taking his shirt off, looking
oh,
amazing.
Snyder.
He
That
looks
is
amazing,
Snyder.
and then the water is hitting him. Now,
Yeah.
the way most people are gonna look at it is, okay, we get it, he's cool, गाना चला रहा है, बहुत cool है, आगे बढ़,
Hmm.
right? And it serves no purpose to the story or anything at all, really. But with that image, that aesthetic is going for, that, like, it's gonna appeal to a lot of people, not for the cool factor. It's gonna appeal to a lot of people because of, like, some people might call it pretentious. I mean, it's their opinion, is their right to call it pretentious if they want to. But to me, that image speaks something. That image, and also, he also said this, Robert Meyer also, fucking, हम critic नहीं, हम बस बाकियों से ले रहे. But they do it so well, so I have to give credit. He also said that, with the Marvel movies, it's very much about these human characters having superpowers but struggling with the human emotions and the human side of it, right? What Zach has gone for in this entire series, especially this one, is these godlike creatures, is godlike people coming
Yeah.
down to earth, and them dealing with this stuff, because
Yeah. The
the way it's all
nostalgia is the
shot, the
same.
way it's all,
That's
yeah,
kind of the essence of DC characters versus Marvel characters.
yeah, yeah,
There's a reason Marvel characters have more charm is
hmm,
because they are essentially human,
yeah,
and they're so Nostalgia Critic described it like this only:
hmm,
ki
hmm, hmm,
Marvel is humans being gods,
yeah,
DC is gods being humans.
yeah. So
Now the
when you take a
problem,
scene
yeah,
like, okay, another one, right? So when you take a scene like when Aquaman, like Bruce meets Aquaman for the first time, and
yeah,
Aquaman leaves, and there's the singing sequence, right, which goes on for like a minute or so. Now, a lot of people are not gonna like it. We know
yeah,
that.
I
It looks like you didn't like it. तेरा चेहरा देख के लग रहा है थोड़ा.
didn't
But
like.
and that's fine. You're allowed to not like it. That's
Yeah,
fine. You can have your own reasons. But why some people may not like it, I'm not saying that's the only reason, is that what is what is the tone and aesthetic is going for in that scene, that kind of echoes that mythological, because that is the word that I can describe this movie with what is going for. That song sequence kind of speaks to that mythological tone he's going for. And if you're not really on board with that idea of being mythological in my superhero comic book movie, you're not gonna dig it. You're gonna say, ये क्या कर रहा है, निकलो यहाँ से, ये क्या wanna be, तुम डायरेक्टर कुछ भी आ गए. And I get that completely fine. I don't think that scene, like, really added to the story or anything. Could it have been cut out? Absolutely, it could have been cut out. And in an ideal world where this movie comes out in a theater, it should have been cut out. But knowing the backstory of this thing, knowing what he's going for, knowing his personal story behind this movie, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
like, you have extended scenes of grieving, like, when you know the behind the scenes, you get why that's happening.
yeah.
And if you're not invested in it, if you're just like a toxic fans लोग को movie चाहिए था बना दिया, you're not gonna like it at all.
That's just dumb. No, so my thing is with stories in general. When you're trying to convey mythology or you're trying to convey godlike characters,
Hmm.
or something that of that scale, your story has to have enough substance to support that.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Yeah.
right, because if I don't see enough substance there, enough important substance, I'm not going to perceive this person as a god. To me, that's just then a character that's poorly written,
Hmm.
which in this movie I thought honestly was Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I thought they fucked her up a little bit because a
After 84, you're
the
saying that after 84?
yeah, no, 84, like
Okay, okay, so we've set the bar. Okay, ab bol.
we don't do that here.
We don't do that here.
So no, they didn't fuck her up like they wrecked
Oh,
her and kya
yeah, yeah.
gaand bana diya character. No, they didn't do her justice. So,
Counter.
so because and the biggest like I
क्या
hated
हुआ?
that this her score.
Acha. It got a little
It goes
too.
up
I'm like, we get it.
twice.
It
And
does that like 20 times in the movie. That also, मैं,
no, not the No Man's Land score.
no,
I'm
no, no.
saying
I'm saying either.
that shows up just twice. The rest of it, every time there is a scene, it's that same woman who was singing in the background of Avatar.
You know what?
Oh,
I was
like,
watching on a Book My Show stream. Okay, so it had that captions
yeah.
on and all. Uh, but it was closed caption, so it was describing even like whenever
Oh
music
yeah, yeah,
comes
yeah.
up, it was describing that. So the amount of times I have seen ancient lamentation music plays, it's crazy. And listen, I like that music, but yeah, it was overdone very much.
I
It,
feel if you did that for like Hippolyta or something, that's
you know when you say a word too many times, that word kind of feels weird and loses
yeah,
its
yeah, yeah,
meaning.
yeah. I know.
Ancient lamentation music. These three words have now engraved in my skull, and I'm like, these are very weird words. Why would
I
humanity
thought
create
that
these
was
words?
such a shitty. I really thought that was like a shitty thing to do because
Acha.
the theme is already A, established, B, fucking awesome.
Yep.
And if even if you don't have to have the woman singing, just play the first like 2-3 minutes of No Man's Land.
Hmm.
It is all operatic and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
That would have worked perfectly fine, even in the tone that they're going for. I thought that would have worked beautifully.
Hmm.
But considering her arc also,
Hmm.
her whole arc is that her people are the ones who warn them ki Steppenwolf is already here.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it. Other than that, character wise,
Hmm.
I didn't feel anything for her in the movie.
I
Other than
agree.
that, it's Gal Gadot and she should get all the screen time in the world because she's amazing. But she's wonderful. So, so yeah, there was that. Then Flash. Let's get to Flash. Okay. Whenever he was Flash, I love him.
Hmm.
It was amazing. It was far better than any like I just thought that Snyder would have made a cool Batman movie. Now I think Snyder can make a Flash movie also
Hmm.
because all the Flash scenes where he's being Flash and using his powers, brilliant.
Yep.
Just that's exactly what I wanted from Flash, um, including the all the time travel stuff that he does, the reversing of time. That was awesome. His intro scene, like I said, the entire scene, not just the part where he's going fast. The entire scene was, I thought, very well written and structured and everything. The problem I had was how did him doing that relate into his character arc? Did you get that? Because I didn't get that. His whole thing was ki make a future for yourself.
Uh-huh.
Ironic because he was
Yeah, in
moving
terms
into the
of
past.
yeah, in
Very.
terms of character uh arcs, yeah, like a Flash, like we get okay at the start of the thing, he hasn't figured out who he wants to be, he doesn't have a job, blah blah blah, and at the end, he's part of this grand team and he's got a job and all that, and he's
Yeah, that's
uh,
cool.
synced up with his father a little bit more, right? So, but yeah, I agree with you. There wasn't much
The only
substance
thing,
to
exactly. The
character
only thing,
arc or depth,
yeah.
and I agree with you in
And
there.
what I feel is that superhero movies of all movies
Hmm.
need that the most.
Hmm.
Because how the hell else are you gonna take normal viewers who are actual humans
Yeah.
and make them relate to those characters? You have to make them more human, and this
Hmm.
giving them more depth is the way to do that. There were scenes which could have been far better paced also, I thought. like
Yeah.
like I said, the first 2 hours of the movie needed far better pacing. That's the only aspect I feel where Justice League was better.
Hmm.
The first half of the movie was far better paced.
Yeah.
Here, yeah, I do agree a lot of things could be cut out, and I know it's a director's cut. In a director's cut, you can't be like, ये क्यों डाला, ये क्यों नहीं काटा. That's the point of a director's cut. Everything the director has shot is in there. But I'm saying story wise, it would have just made more sense to cut it down a little bit. And even here, the editing could have been smoother. Now I'm
Yeah,
speaking through it technically, the editing could have been more polished.
yeah,
Maybe just
sure,
one combing through of it could have done it. Uh,
sure.
Even Aquaman. So what I said about Wonder Woman, the same thing
Dude,
I feel about
Aquaman gets nothing.
his whole
he
thing is like, oh, but we're setting with his whole thing is ki the his movie was condensed into two scenes, and that was his arc in this movie.
However, but yeah, that also makes sense why
Now
Aquaman wasn't given much in terms of like either
it's because
character
they were
depth or what.
setting up for his solo movie
Because he was the only one after Wonder Woman who had a solo movie in pre-production at
in
that point.
pre-production. Yeah,
So the Flash movie and Cyborg movie,
that's
like they were slated and all, but
yeah.
so that's why I think, especially with Cyborg, they tried to, especially with hindsight now that like we know that it's very unlikely that Ray Fisher is gonna get any appearance in the DC movies at all because of all the drama that is going
Because
on.
all the vocalization. Yeah, yeah,
So it's in hindsight, it makes me even more happy that he got a mini origin movie of his own in here.
yeah. He did, which is cool. It was really really cool, and I think him talking about DC the way that he did
Hmm.
is a big reason that Justice League was the way that it was in
Yeah.
terms of treating Cyborg.
Also,
Um,
I don't get, so the theatrical cut, they said one of the reasons was okay, we need to lighten it up literally and make the image look like shit while cropping it,
yeah.
technical. But also they were like, okay, we need to lighten it up in like tone and all. We need to crack in some jokes and shit. So going into this movie, I thought it would be much more in line with BVS, still lighter than BVS, but BVS is a very like dark and somber kind of tone
Yes.
throughout. So I knew this movie would be lighter, but I was surprised at the amount of humor in this movie, and it was not cringy, awkward Joss Whedon humor. It was actually like, at least for me, it actually worked. Like Flash was witty here. He was annoyingly goofy in the other one. There's a difference between two. You're being funny at both. But in one, you're stupid as fuck. But in this one, he is his own character. He
Yeah.
cracks jokes and all thoda bahut.
Uh,
But it 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 lines up with the tone of with what Snyder's going for here much more, and it makes me respect the character much more, which is a bigger thing
so
entirely. The theatrical cut, not only is it a bad movie and worse than this thing obviously, but
it
it
disrespects
it disrespects every
a lot of
character,
things in the movie. Yeah,
every character.
it does. It does. Yeah, that was just made because it contractual. There was no passion. Here there is
Yeah,
clearly passion and love for these characters behind it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
definitely there. That's undeniable. I thought he was annoyingly goofy in this also.
That's fine. Like, it depends on the kind of humor you're into
So
also.
his humor. So I thought, like, you're right. It was witty, but I disagree with the fact that it went with the tone, because
Okay.
there's this whole
No,
like
it didn't go with the tone exactly, but it it served the character. It makes me believe that character will do that
yeah,
thing
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
instance.
That's
In
true.
that
That's true.
sense.
It fit the character,
Hmm.
not the tone.
Yeah, obviously not. Yeah.
Jokes really took me out of the tone. There, that is why Alfred is my favorite character in the movie, because his humor
Yeah.
is so dry, it fits with a gritty tone.
Yeah.
Whereas
I love
Flash
Alfred
is
when
slightly
Bruce comes
stupid.
down and Alfred is meeting everyone. I'm gonna get the cups. I don't know where I'll find them.
Where I find them. Alfred is so cool. Jeremy Irons is so cool.
Also,
So
that golden line. If you can't handle the bull charging at you, don't wave the red cape. And the
red
way
kid.
he says it with his, I love it. I love him.
Yeah. So that so yeah, so where yeah, so that's what I'm saying. His humor fits a little more with the tone because it's dry, whereas Flash is a little more jovial. So it
Hmm.
undercuts the impact I felt that he was going for in all those scenes.
Yeah,
There
that
are
makes
a
sense.
few jokes which work in the beginning, like when he's recruiting him and stuff. Like snack hole is still okay. I was really surprised to see that that was a Snyder thing. I really thought that was a Joss
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Even I thought that
Uh,
was a Joss joke.
I totally thought it was a Jaws joke, but yeah. So that
I
uh,
love I love one of the funniest things I love when they're going to resurrect Superman के वो ट्रक पे बैठे हैं and checking the ID आया and then he goes I what the
even Aquaman's joke. Aquaman has like one joke in the movie,
when
and
he's
it
changing
fucking works so
caps.
much. And he's like, A,
No, let me
no,
see
like B.
B. Let me see
Let's
A
say A
again.
again. That was awesome. That was so cool. So yeah, there are moments of humor which work. I just feel
Yeah.
they need to be toned down a little
Mm-hmm.
because of again the tone that he's trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now getting to Batman,
Huh.
it's pretty much same thing as Flash, where all the parts where he's Batman are amazing. All the parts where he's and I actually like I can't believe I like Affleck in a movie. I actually
You
liked
didn't
him.
like him in the previous in BVS?
That's only because everything around him was shit and he was like
Acha,
the best
okay.
part of it,
Okay, okay.
not because he was like great or anything.
Mm-hmm.
um so Ben Affleck was really good in this. However, again, Batman's arc was not, I won't say it didn't have substance. It had substance, not enough for a 4 hour movie. Because if you see the first like hour and a half is
Mm.
him saying, oh, I have to fulfill my promise to Superman. And I was like, that's good. That's a good arc. It shows a lot about the philosophy of Bruce as a character, and it gives good motive for him to be here and for the story to move forward. I was like, that's really good. That's a good motive to have, and that's a good character setup.
Mm.
The problem is, once the Justice League are kind of together, his arc becomes now I'm just operating on faith, Alfred.
Yeah. Also,
What?
yeah, I was like, I didn't expect to say this going into the movie because, like, I love Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Batman in BVS. Is like one of my favorites
He is a
in that
good.
role.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm gonna say this, but I think this movie did not deliver on Batman at like not at all, but it did not deliver on Batman, especially compared to what I think what should have come after the theatrical cut.
You
I
mean
think
character wise or action wise?
both. I
Okay.
think this Batman peaked in the warehouse fight sequence,
Mm-hmm.
both in terms of
Definitely.
intention, morality. Well, morality is a little thoda tricky because
Yeah,
he's
that's
stabby
no
people.
morality. Gray
But
morality.
that and action as Batman,
Yeah.
all that. I think this one, honestly, I would say, if you want to speak character arcs, like where a character is at the start and where they are, I think the theatrical cut did it slightly better. Where there is that one scene I do like from the theatrical cut, if I have to confess my sins. There's one scene I actually think like had they originally shot it and it was here, it would have been nice. When Bruce, after they've decided we need to get Superman back, Bruce is talking to Alfred, and
Uh,
Alfred's like, "Are you sure you're gonna do this thing?" And Bruce says, "Ki Clark was a better human than I was. He had a family, he had a job. Like we need the team needs him." And
yeah.
then Alfred's like, "But what does he need?" And he's like, "Oh, he'll know whatever." I think that thing of him having that guilt of having killed, so like getting Superman killed, bringing him back, I think it works better in the theatrical cut. Which, I mean, sorry to all the gods old and new, but I have to confess a couple of sins. So
So
yeah,
that's
that's
what
one
I'm
thing.
saying. The only reason it was done better over there is
Hmm.
because it there is enough substance for it to fit in a 2 hour movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas it's not enough to fit a 4 hour thing. And you could tell they were
I.
struggling ki how to how to carry his thing forward, because his whole thing is I have to assemble the team. I made a promise to Clark. I have to assemble the team. Okay, team is assembled. Now what? Faith. That I was just like, come on, dude. Faith? Bruce Wayne operating on faith? What? Uh,
Also, let's get into. I think we've talked. Like, let's get into. What three things are left? Take care. Three main things we haven't discussed yet. A, Superman.
yeah. I was
B,
just about to put. Okay, yeah.
everything related to the nightmare, all the visions everyone's getting, like Cyborg and Bruce. They both get visions, and the granddaddy of them all, Darkseid.
Yes. Let's
Now,
discuss. Yeah.
so let's start
Let's
with
leave Dark
Superman.
Side for the last. Let's start with
Haha.
Superman.
Yeah.
You
So
go. Yeah.
yeah. So they changed the reason for them bringing back Superman in the theatrical cut. They force in some the forced team conflict when they're discussing we need to bring Superman back, and
Yeah.
Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is like, no, technology is bad. तू 100 साल से क्या कर रही तू मतलब what?
Just love you doing the accent.
I'm sorry, it was, listen, even gals, if she if she ever watches this video, even she's gonna be like, oh, you know what, fair
You
enough, मेरे
block
को
us
उधर
on
नहीं होना था.
Twitter.
I mean, I'm sorry, you're amazing. Oh shit, she's also gonna see her Wonder Woman review.
Yeah, I think we're in the bad books of Gal Gadot anyway. Or Bakchod both.
Uh, so like they have that conflict when they're deciding to bring Superman back, and there
Yeah.
it's more it's just Bruce pushing for it. It's like, no, we have to bring him back, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
and it's a good line there when Wonder Woman says, why, because of your guilt. Oh, and it's a badass delivery, very bad delivery, but that line makes sense, that
It makes
there and all, and the entire team is kind of like flip floppy on it. Yeah, should we not? But here, everyone is almost on board with it instantly, which I like, and also they have a good reason to bring him back, not just because, oh, I feel guilty, we got him killed, he was strong and all, but also
Yeah, that's what
to,
I'm saying. Batman's motivation to bring the team together is superb. I really
yeah,
love that.
but also they realize, bro, ye OP tha. That's why they never came. All these aliens and all, they never attacked because they knew Superman hai. And I'm like, that's Superman, bitch. And
Exactly.
that's also what I said when Superman comes back and he has
Because,
that badass entry. Not
yeah,
impressed.
not impressed. Ooh, one
Oof.
of the best moments in the movie.
Yeah. So I
Easily.
love Superman's. Also, you're gonna put Hans Zimmer's theme when you're talking about Superman. Of course, I'm gonna love it. Of course. When Barry's like, I know what we're all thinking. I'm not gonna say it.
I'm
Who's
not gonna
gonna
say
say
that's
it? And
actually
then they
good.
play the theme.
That's actually good. Yeah. But even there, they finally like, we need Superman. I'm like, leave it. No. Don't say it. It was
Huh,
good
they
till then.
don't.
That's legit like Barry in Justice going, it's a cave.
Up.
A bad cave.
But Madhav, you're not
I
understanding.
usually don't want
Madhav,
to strangle people.
Madhav, you're not understanding. What is brunch? You wait in line for an hour for what is essentially lunch. People are a little slow. And then you have the greatest detective of all time going, I'll try to catch up.
Ugh. Fuck you, WB.
I
So
have
yeah,
seen the theatrical cut way more times than any sane man should.
yeah. I don't know what kind of endurance or obsessive masochism you have. Uh, so yeah,
So
yeah,
they then
Superman. I'll join in.
so they start to get Superman back at the sequence, and again they have an entire subplot of Silas Stone entirely cut out from there from the theatrical cut, which
Yeah,
fuck, like that touched
which
my
again
heart when he
adds to
sacrifices.
Cyborg's thing, and I'm
Absolutely,
happy it happened.
yeah. So they go there. They're about to bring Superman back, and Cyborg has this vision where he sees this nightmare world where Wonder Woman has died, Aquaman has died, Darkseid has taken over,
Superman
and
is going to be killed.
not killed. He is succumbing to the anti-life.
Acha, okay.
So well, you see, he's
Oh
in that
yeah,
shot of the
yeah,
Batcave.
yeah.
So it's one of two shots in the entire movie which is repurposed from older films.
I saw that. I saw someone on Instagram posted where
Mm-hmm.
He
So
sort of like
that
looks up or something.
so when he's holding that Luis ka body, like
Ah,
burnt up body, and Darkseid puts his hand over, that's taken from when he kills Zod,
yeah,
when
I
he
know.
screams. And his Superman's last shot in the Nightmare Vision, when he comes in front of the Injustice League, and
And he has laser eyes and stuff.
that's
Yeah.
from BVS ka entry, when
Hmm.
he drops
I know,
into
I know.
that terrorist thing. So that.
I saw that. I think that's the only comparison video I've seen. That and the Flash recruiting scene. Those
Ha
are
ha
the
ha.
only two comparison videos I saw. I'm like, my YouTube recommendation else is going to be filled with this. I'm like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah. So
So yeah,
Cyborg gets that vision, and he, like, his armor defense system, and it makes so much sense now, because in the theatrical cut, Superman comes back, he's a little bit evil for a while, and Cyborg's armor starts fucking up, and he's like, it's my armor's defense system, it's stronger since the interface. Yeah, so like Cyborg gets that vision, and in the theatrical cut, his armor defense system starts acting against Superman, but in the theatrical cut, he just felt like, you know what, cool lagega dal dete hai. But here it
yeah.
makes sense why it does that.
Yeah, there's a little more reasoning given to actions and moments in Snyder Cut, which is good. The intention over there is good. I just
Hmm.
feel they needed to be reasons which matter a little more. Now I'm talking about character wise, and since we're talking about character and we're on Superman,
I know what you're gonna say. It. I'm not gonna be the one to say it.
I'm not gonna say it. I thought it wasn't bad.
It
Uh,
was certainly
but
better than what we got last time.
it was better than what we got last time for sure.
But
But
yeah, he was
it
a Deus Ex
was
Machina.
still rushed. No, no, no. I don't care about the Deus Ex Machina. I don't care about that.
Hmm.
I genuinely don't. What
Rust,
I'm saying is,
what part? After he comes back, or the entire coming back and all?
no, after
Or
he
the
comes
whole?
back,
After he
after
comes
he
back. Hmm.
Clark again, uh, and not evil Superman.
Hmm.
So uh, they rushed it.
Yeah, they
I
did.
felt they really rushed his arc because he literally has like what, three scenes.
Yeah, he has that fight at Heroes Park, that farm scene, gets the suit
And that's
and comes back in
exactly,
the
and
end.
that's what I've always thought about Superman. He's not the most interesting character. His weakness is a green rock. Um, so there is not much like over there to for me to latch onto him.
Hmm.
His main thing is Lois.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that humanizes him, and Lois herself is like, oh Clark, I'm dependent on you, I'm not person without you.
yeah.
Who will catch me when I'm falling, Clark? So 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 yeah, there is that codependency there, but again, there's not much. Like, we know, okay, they're together.
Hmm.
Now what? Although I
Now
will say,
what?
I like the mashup of
Now kiss.
the now case. What the fuck?
Yeah.
The waste of Amy Adams, dude.
Hmm.
Um, what I do like is the mashup of both his father's voiceovers,
Yeah.
Jor-El and whatever his name is, Mr.
Shit.
Kent,
Jonathan Kent.
Jonathan Kent. The mashup of those two was very nice.
Yep.
It was proper cinematic. It was exactly what that scene needed. Aesthetically, story wise, it was amazing.
Hmm.
Was there an explanation for the black suit? I may have missed that.
Not in the movie.
Not in the movie, no? Huh. Um, so, ठीक है, I mean, I don't really mind. It's cool to see.
Hmm.
Uh, they still rushed it. Like, when the whole movie is about, at least the first half is him bringing him together so they can bring Superman back. And Superman is the sort of heart of the Justice League because
Hmm.
he's the Captain America. No, he's like, we don't trade lives.
Yeah.
Uh, you need more over there for him to function in this
Yeah, I
story.
agree. I agree.
Um, And that's the problem with every Superman. Even the Christopher Reeves one, where it was more like exciting to see him do Superman stuff. He's not the best
You
character.
haven't seen Superman and Lois. To dekh. It won't like completely turn you over. Ki, like
Yeah,
suddenly
no, no,
you're
no.
the
I'm
biggest
sure it
Superman
won't. I'm
fan.
sure it won't. But like, yeah,
But
and that's it seems more family drama based, and I need to be in the mood to watch a
thoda
family.
hai. That
Yeah.
I'll say, what that show does really well is, it's what Man of Steel should have been. I feel like,
Okay.
because it takes the Man of Steel ka aesthetic, not just in like framing and color and all. I'm just saying that modern aesthetic, but still keeps Superman rooted in who he is. It doesn't change the character for a modern world completely, and that
I
show
might
does it
check it
really
out.
well.
Let's see. So, and that's what like really confused me, because here you have a 4 hour cut where at least half an hour has gone to Cyborg.
Hmm.
Everyone else's arcs are also like there's not enough substance there yet. They're stretching it out. So
Hmm.
why rush this? Or why not compact the other arcs so that it seems kind of balanced? That's where I thought that again, Zack Snyder's storytelling needs to be more polished.
Hmm.
Um, but when Superman kicks ass, ooh,
He
maza aa
does
gaya.
a 300 Sparta kick
Yeah,
to Steppenwolf.
I was
Oh
actually
God.
talking to a friend, and
Uh,
he like really didn't like it.
okay.
Uh, so he was like, it was like Snyder was trying to rip off 300, but forgot that he only made 300.
Can you imagine all said Henrico like Henry? So you're gonna rise up and you're just gonna boom, एक kick मारेगा तू. Like, oh, I
देख के
get it. Like
दूंगा नहीं
300.
क्यों?
Yes, that was intentional. Yes.
It is a callback. I tribute myself. So yeah, it's Superman kicking ass. That's cool. What was the second point we had to discuss?
Um. Uh, s- s-
Anti-life. No,
no, Superman. Last my dark side. Uh,
Nightmare.
Nightmare. Yes, Nightmare. Oh wait. Should we keep Nightmare for last or dark side? Because dark
Dark
side
side
kind
को
of.
last.
Okay, take it. Nightmare. Yeah. So what do you? Oh yeah, we haven't even touched on the epilogue Nightmare sequence.
Yeah, so let's
So,
just get that out of the way. What the
mhm.
fuck?
Listen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
No. So listen. Is it necessary? Not at all. Take it. That scene does not have a place in this movie. Take it.
yeah, I know.
However, we know why it is there now. Like if you read into it a
Yeah,
little
now we
bit,
know why it's there.
because Snyder was like, listen, this will probably be my last movie for like
So I'm
DC
just
and
gonna
all.
put everything in
So
it.
let me just put it in as a like fun little thing. And also, listen, regardless of however you feel about the whole thing, like I'm a little bit more the positive side generally I am, but like
Yeah,
I do have gripes with it overall. I'm just glad we got a scene of Affleck ka Batman and Jared Leto's Joker. I'm just glad there is one scene in this what 5 movies or 4 movies, because we're not gonna see Affleck as Batman again. Only like Flash, he's gonna have
now
a small role and
most
he's basically
likely, yeah,
leaving. Jared
yeah.
Leto, even more so, we're not gonna see him in the future as
I
Joker.
hope we don't, dude.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm not a fan of his Joker,
I
really.
don't
Like,
know.
I think here he was like 10% better, but even overall, I
Yeah,
didn't.
overall, I
Yeah. But I'm just glad we have a scene, like a live action of these versions in one scene together. Also, fun fact, they were not on set together. In fact, none of them were, except maybe 2 people. So
clearly. Have you seen the way? Have you seen the short composition? Have you seen
नो
the
नो
way?
आई एम सेइंग लाइक बाकियों का तो समझ में आ रहा है कि लाइक ग्रीन स्क्रीन पे किया है, अलग से किया है,
I'm
लाइक
not talking about green screen.
क्या.
I'm talking about like they do this patchwork. No,
हाँ हाँ
when
हाँ
they don't have a particular actor, they take a stunt double and उसका shoulder लेते हैं
हाँ हाँ हाँ
पीछे से and
या
then they show the guy. Yeah.
या बट आई थिंक दैट It's just a little funny that Ben Affleck and Jared Leto have never been on set together, even though they're playing the arch nemesis of each other throughout like three movies,
Because
BVS, Justice League, Suicide Squad.
2013. Because BVS has been BVS bowler DC has been fucking up since 2013.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, he was leagues better than Suicide Squad counterpart, huh? And and but that's not saying much because Suicide Squad was shit.
Yeah,
Even this was kind of shit. I like the fact uh, he sort of this Joker knows the Batman's pressure points,
yeah.
because that's what Joker and Batman's dynamic is. Joker is like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
But I'm not touching.
जाना घर तू.
Especially with this Batman who will fucking kill you.
Exactly. Uh, I like. I mean, I guess I need to see it again to know if I like it or not. There was this
Mhm.
Harley Quinn exposition.
Huh,
He,
so
I
he
guess,
says that Harley Quinn died in my arms and she told me to, like, when I kill you, I'll
yeah,
do it slowly. And Joker calls his
yeah,
bluff. He's like, oh, you're good. You almost had me.
at me, and he like, take this card as a contract of our
Also,
friendship.
I like that Easter egg of the card. In BVS, if you notice, the nightmare scene in BVS, watch it again, he has that card taped to his gun.
Oh,
I'm like, ah, I see. Nice. Other than that, oh, also in that scene when we're talking nightmare, right? We have Mira there, Amber Heard. She has a British accent in this movie.
yeah.
In the theatrical, she had an American, and also in Aquaman, she had an American accent. And like,
Because I
interesting.
don't think, because Amber Heard is a garbage human anyway, and I don't think she cared anything about this. It's like paisa mil raha hai, karo. Uh,
No, it's like it's not like she just winged it because her previous footage when she meets Aquaman, that was shot back then. No, so clearly they had decided on her having that accent, and after the theatrical cut, it must have been like, you know what,
yeah, it
normally
just got
रखते
lost
हैं.
in the confusion or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of, that's one of the last things I care about,
Hmm.
honestly. This guy accent or whatever. It was kind of cool to see Deathstroke working with Batman.
Hmm.
Um, glad to see Cyborg still alive.
Yeah.
Uh, and evil Superman, I guess we got a glimpse of him. Fine. Uh, I still feel this would have worked better as a uh, either a DVD bonus feature or a
Hmm.
post credit thing, or they just put it on YouTube as, hey, we had this deco.
Hmm.
Um, because after Superman does that thing at the epilogue, none of what comes after is needed whatsoever, and I don't think it adds anything to the movie. Like you're saying, even if it's not necessary, it adds aesthetically. I
Hmm.
understand that to an extent. These three scenes really didn't,
Hmm.
because there's nothing more to do
Yeah.
that you're gonna add aesthetically. Ho gaya khatam.
Hmm.
This is literally epilogue. So him saying, I still like that the original thing was that Lex Luthor tells him that it's Bruce Wayne, and it's not, shouldn't we have a
League
league?
of our own.
Shouldn't we have a league of our own? Fucking
Also, that just makes me even
and
sad that we're not gonna see a Ben Affleck Batman movie with Deathstroke, because that's what it set up, and
yeah,
it
that would
just
have
breaks
actually
my
been,
heart.
that would have been really cool, really cool. But so that, and then the Martha Manhunter comes back and he's like, "Can I join?" And Affleck is like,
Cool.
"Cool, आजा तू next वाले में." Oh wait.
Oh, little does he know.
Yeah, yeah. I was just like, and that shit is like, those three scenes are long. That's like
Yeah.
at least a good 20 minutes
Yep.
in totality. So I was like, then eh, is
Hmm.
this, can this be considered 4 hours? I don't think so. um Now let's get to Dark
The
Side and Steppenwolf. Again, you're the positive one, you go.
Li- no, listen, positive as in I never say that, like, okay, the things I like, I never say that it's completely justified at all. Okay. Does Darkseid need to be in this movie? Not really. Does Darkseid have any like thing to do? Not at all.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's just Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy, but extended.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That. But I do like that at least now I understand Steppenwolf's motivations.
Yeah.
I don't sympathize with him, but I understand. Like, okay, he's got a debt to this guy, 50,000 words. इसको imagine like when Desart tells him, "You've got 50,000 words to give him," and he's like, "Shit, कौन count कर रहा है?"
Who was that guy, by the way? The
Desart, his henchman, right? The middleman.
Oh, okay.
That's Desart. He's
I don't
also
recognize him from anything.
he's kind of like uh,
Ebony.
basically he's kind of like Ebony Maw.
नहीं, I know that.
Hmm.
I'm just saying I didn't like. I फिर भी know Steppenwolf from
Uh,
somewhere. I
अच्छा.
don't know who this guy is. Like even from the comics or whatever.
Yeah, he's very like क्या बोलते हैं niche character I would say.
Okay.
That
Uh,
so
yeah.
so Steppenwolf makes much more sense. He's not just going, mother, mother is calling me, mother. He's not doing that at all. He's got he's got some cool shit on him. Like I love that.
Imagine, sorry, in Justice League, I can just imagine when he's going, "Mother," his theme song can, "क्या इतना बुरा हूँ मैं माँ." Like, I'm sorry, when Darshil Safari from Tare Zameen Par is a better character than you fuck off.
Listen, this is why you come to us for these reviews, right? Where else are you gonna
Yes,
get Dalchi
all
Safari?
three of you.
Where
Oh,
else is
बेचारा एक कोई बंदा बैठ के देख रहा होगा पता किधर से.
in no other review ever are you gonna hear Dalshil Safari
I will get Darshil
and
Safari
Steppenwolf.
comparisons to Steppenwolf. Fuck, so is Darkseid the Amir Khan of this universe?
As he's putting lasers, all is fine, all is well, all is well. Oh, Superman को बोला था, Superman is holding Lewis, all is well, all is well.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man. So yeah, so I understand Steppenwolf better, done much better. I actually felt like, okay, this is a scary ass dude. He will break you like a twig,
There was,
unlike the last movie.
was more, he was a bit more intimidating.
Mhm.
There was, like I said, that everything in this movie has a better reason to it,
Hmm.
or has a reason, period. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not the best reasons. So here's what I felt with Steppenwolf. Like, it's basically told in exposition that, okay, uh, he's been banished because of some mistake.
Mhm.
Had that mistake been shown, I would have been even more on board.
Oh
I
yeah.
like that they gave him a reason, and but I'm like, okay, tell us the mistake.
Hmm.
Tell us why it is important to you and how you have developed from that point, so I can feel something more for you.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely.
But the problem I have with Steppenwolf is not just the fact that his motivation is too thin, which it is. It is not. Again, this is where the story needed more working.
Hmm.
His philosophy is not in direct conflict with the Justice League's philosophy.
Mhm.
Their actions are that they're both after the mother box, and that Steppenwolf needs to like surround the earth in fire or whatever, and Justice League is like, we can't live here, please don't do that. uh, their philosophies need to be in direct conflict. A good example, a better example to give is Infinity War,
Hmm.
where Thanos' philosophy is that I can sacrifice lives for resources or for so and so gain to save other lives. I can sacrifice some lives
Hmm.
to save others. And Captain America says we
We don't
don't
trade
trade
lives.
lives.
Yeah.
Direct conflict in philosophy.
Yep.
And then thereafter, like saving the planet or whatever.
Yeah.
Here, the action seemed tangential,
Mm-hmm.
where it's more of a, oh, the action is kind of like he's doing something but Justice League cannot let him do that. The
It's
why
more
of,
reactionary.
exactly, the why of it, the philosophies need to be more in conflict, and I felt they could have done that very easily, because the Justice League's whole thing is we need to come together and unity. Their
Mm.
philosophy is unity and teamwork, right? And so had Steppenwolf's thing been ki I feed on hate, I
Mm.
feed on war, had it been something like what Ares's thing was in Wonder Woman, ki keep people fighting
It
amongst
could
each
have
other,
also been, now that you mention it,
yeah,
I feel like, so the reason why Steppenwolf and all, they hadn't invaded Earth yet was because the last time they lost was because, and that planet's entire all forces joined together and they beat his ass, Darkseid's
exactly,
ass,
exactly,
and because Superman was present all these years.
yeah,
So now that you say it, because Steppenwolf in this movie, he doesn't care that, oh, there's a Justice League forming. Like I
exactly,
so what if he was also actively, no, I can't let them unite because that's what defeated us the last time.
exactly. Had his thing been uh, united we stand tall or whatever, and divided we
Mm-hmm.
fall, whatever that quote is.
Hmm.
Uh, I can't remember the quote now, but
United we stand, divided we fall. ठीक तो बोला. Yeah,
oh,
that's
is
all you.
that only or what?
हाँ, और क्या?
Oh shit! I thought it was like something more like dramatic or whatever. Whatever. So that had his whole thing been ki I feed on hate and keeping people divided is what will help me win. That would have been so much better, because then them coming together, the
Hmm.
stakes are higher. It would have been more satisfying for all of them, and their arcs would have made slightly more sense.
Sure.
It would not have felt spread too thin.
Yeah.
So that now Darkseid,
Is it's in his name.
he was
He's
better in Injustice, the games.
huh. Yeah.
I liked him so much more in the game.
Yeah, obviously.
Here ऐसा लगता नहीं कि they took the game guy and like made him go to gym or something.
Yeah, but
पतला हो गया बेचारा, खाना नहीं खा रहा है.
it also makes sense though here, because he was supposed to be the big bad of the next two movies, and also in the next movies, he would never have gotten the amount of character work that Thanos got. He was always going to be
Yeah,
big evil guy. It's in his name. He's on the dark side.
dark side. Yeah,
That's
he
all.
lives on a planet called Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, uh,
I feel like, you remember the first X-Men movie when Hugh Jackman's like, Storm, Cyclops, what do they call you? Wheels?
yeah. It's yeah. So dark side,
It is
like
what it is.
had they had it been actually like Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's just there in one scene and Steppenwolf is like speaking to him or whatever, um, I would have been fine with that. The thing is, he's shown in all the flashbacks. He is uh, definitely a prominent character,
Hmm.
but he's a prominent character who does nothing. So I don't feel anything for him. He really shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, another problem I have: why bring up anti-life in the middle of the movie?
because sequel bait.
I know, but like post credit mein kar lo.
Oh yeah, that could have been done also.
That would have been a better use of Martha Manhunter. Like he finds anti-life or something, or he's found out that Darkseid has found anti-life and he's on his way here, or that's why he wants to
Hmm.
like get Earth or something.
Chris
That would have
Terrio,
been a
take
good,
notes. Chris Terrio, take notes. Take
yeah.
notes.
I thought you said
For
Mysterio.
for no, for the next franchise you enter in the middle of, and
Decide to do what you do. Yeah. So like yeah, the anti-life in the middle of it was just like, come on,
it felt just thrown in.
see that.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, other that's most that those are my biggest complaints of the movie. It's just there needs to be more thought given to why the characters are doing what they're doing, what their arc means in this universe. It should be in more in line with the tone you're achieving, or tailor the tone to the arcs, um, and have it just be more interesting in general. They're
Hmm.
on the right path. That's what I'm saying. Snyder has realized that he needs to focus more on the story part of things. Now he just needs to polish those storytelling skills. If
Yeah.
he can do that, if he can become a good storyteller with the visual value that he brings to movies, holy shit, can you imagine those movies?
He'll be on a different level.
He'll definitely be on a different level. So here it felt like he saw Nolan and he's like, Debra.
Deborah. I just imagining Deborah, and of course, like, listen, we know all the behind the scenes stuff, so let's just look forward to the future and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
joke. Let's have some fun. Let's all enjoy. So I
I bet
imagine.
Deborah's like, why don't you just go fuck Nolan, bro? मैं इधर क्यों हूँ? तू जाना.
No, okay, wow. I'm imagining when Deborah and Chris Nolan they sat down to watch the theatrical cut, which they did, and
Oh,
imagine they were watching and Nolan's like, "नहीं, बात
Nolan is
बोलना
like,
please. We can never let him see this."
just, bro, man.
Just imagine, like they go to the studio, like, what did you do to our movie? Yeah, they're like, don't try to understand it, just feel
Just,
it. And that, folks, is how you come full circle.
oh man. Yeah, so this Zack Snyder's Justice League, overall, I thought cinematically it's quite good. I still would have liked it to be a little bit brighter, just a
Hmm.
little.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, sure.
because there was a lot of brown and a lot of gray going on. Uh, so yeah, um, he's on the right path with giving reasons behind everything. Now they just need to make those reasons relevant.
You're
Uh,
saying that as his next movie, which is a zombie heist movie coming out in
I
like three
hope it
months.
has good storytelling. I really hope it does.
I mean, I'd
If
love it if it
that does,
does,
yeah.
but like it's a zombie heist movie, so let's go in with
Yeah, I'm
expectations
not going
set.
in with like, अरे क्या must like deep epic movie रहेगा. I know it's gonna be fun,
Yeah, fun.
but I
Also,
want him
I
to.
also am so happy for Snyder that he's getting
He
back
got a
into his
chance to
groove.
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I got what I want to say about this movie is I'm really glad he got a chance to show his actual vision.
Yep.
That's a chance almost no filmmakers get ever. So I'm
Listen,
really happy for him. I'm really happy his family has recovered now. I'm really happy about the lobbying behind the movie.
yeah.
What I don't like are the fans who are like blindly following everything and using all the stuff that happened as an excuse,
Hmm.
as to, oh, that much stuff happened. This is why this is good. I know
Yeah,
it
this is why
doesn't
this
work
is
that
good.
way.
That part I don't agree with at all.
That it
I
doesn't.
can
Yeah,
empathize, I can understand,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean like if it's a contrivance or if it's a let's just say it, if it's something a bad plot point or something that doesn't excuse it necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It should not, and it should not be used as an excuse. That's just
Yeah.
disrespectful, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Obviously.
so yeah, those are like my main thoughts of the movie.
Hmm.
Uh, I pretty much मेरे को लग रहा था I'm gonna be like going on and on and on. I'm kind of proud of myself. I
We
concised it.
have improved.
I we didn't cutted my arguments. Just go through my notes, see if there. Yeah, I said
No,
pretty much
I
all
think
that I
yeah.
needed.
Even I think I talked about everything I wanted to. Anything. I
Uh,
don't remember
yeah, there are moments
anything.
where the CGI is not so great, but they were
Oh,
working with a limited budget, so I understand that.
yeah.
And with most superhero movies of this scale, there is going to be some stuff that looks
Yeah.
very
That's
clearly seen.
fine.
But that's fine. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, also there's this like tiny moment, just like offhand, let's just mention it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get why Steppenwolf was trying to be mean to Wonder Woman, where he's like, "I saw your sisters beg for mercy."
Yeah, he was just trying to throw her off. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
like
like,
there was no any
yeah, and
reason
I'm
as
like, dude,
such.
you're already kicking their ass.
Yeah.
ज्यादा सेल्फ इंडल्जेंट हो रहा है एंड यही होता है सेल्फ इंडल्जेंट हो गए अ सुपरमैन कम्स एंड फक्स यू अप cuts your head off. He was getting ahead of himself. Counter, counter, counter.
God, I don't even know what kind of a counter it is. It is just you say something grand, something revelatory.
Uh,
But listen, I went into this not expecting, but um, even if it wasn't, but even if it had been a worse movie in whatever universe than the theatrical cut, I would take it over that studio committee movie that came out, because this is very
that's true.
clearly one man's vision.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
It feels
the
like it's done
fact
with love.
the fact that this is better than the theatrical cut by
Yeah.
miles it is better, is a
It
thing
is
to celebrate.
leagues better.
And with that, everyone watching, thank you
Yeah.
for watching or listening. Uh, uh, what else are we
So yeah,
planning? Yeah, we're planning a Cyberpunk review sometime soon. We've been saying that for 3 months
hopefully in
now,
the
but
next
let's see.
hopefully in the next few days, because I finally finished it. I did all the endings.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, finally we will get to it, and then I will see if I will watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Hmm. You
I
haven't
don't
seen the first episode, no?
know.
I was
Aega bhi,
actually.
I'm gonna do the binging thing.
It's actually like even
I know.
we were on the
I
same
heard that
level.
it's like surprising some people.
Yeah, it
Uh,
surprised me. Like it
but
was
still, I'm like, I will
pretty
wait,
good. Yeah,
because I recently did watch Hobbs and Shaw,
get the taste out
and I'm
of
like,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that I'm playing AC Origins now, so uska review should be out soon,
Hmm.
depending on how much time I get. अभी shoot क्या मेरा 24th को है, तो
Yeah.
so yeah, I'll be busy there. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Main thing with Snyder Cut, yeah, just थोड़ा थोड़ा पेस अच्छा कर दो, maybe 3 hours instead of 3.5.
Hmm.
Write a little more story which matters. Your action is cool. Snyder, you are cool. Keep making movies, buddy.
Yep.
I'm saying that as if I'm Nolan to him.
हाँ बेटा अच्छा कर, you
मैं
know that
उसका
meme
एडवाइस दे रहा हूँ उसको
that
स्नाइडर बेटा like,
where the baby is playing with something, then the grandmaster just sitting, haha बेचारा.
yeah, there's a thing where the chess meme,
हाँ
baby is like this and computer is like,
हाँ. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching the video, bearing with us, and
yeah.
I mean, it's this is the kind of movie everyone's is gonna have an opinion on, whether or not you have seen it or not.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So I mean, if you have some positive ones,
That's
do
cool. Yeah,
leave
yeah.
them
If
behind.
someone enjoys this movie,
Yeah.
please go ahead. I'm a more on the average thing,
Hmm.
obviously. But if someone enjoys it, yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
obviously.
And if you did enjoy the movie, do leave something down in the comments. If you didn't, please don't leave anything in the comments. We would rather not have that. Actually, you know what? I'm flip flopping because we don't get anything in there anyway.
We
So
don't,
you know
yeah,
what? Why
we
not?
barely
Fuck it.
get double digit views.
कुछ भी है, लिख दो.
Just
Write
do it
anything.
justice.
On that note, thank you and bye bye.